Hello, everyone. Welcome to Trades Talk Tuesday. I am your host, Pop Culture Mechanic. You can call me Pop for short. And today, I'm going to be looking into a little bit of resume building for those that are interested. It's an important way to get your foot in the door and make it so that your potential employer will consider you over the, hundreds or thousands of people that may be applying for the same job as you. And there's some keywords to put into your resumes and such, and we'll go over that later on in the stream. I'm bigger than soda. Soda pop. I get it, Serranos. How you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, so as I so often do, I will start off with some news in the industry. And we'll get that from Plant Magazine, which is, let's see, that. There we go. So I just look here every week to see whether there's any good news, and you can usually tell whether the economy's doing well by some of the stories that you see, where they're building more factories and such, so that, they create the jobs and people can get the jobs. So right off the top here, it says Biden will host a forum about artificial intelligence with technology leaders in San Francisco. I doubt he'll even know what's going on, but whatever. We'll see what happens there. Artificial intelligence, from what I can see now, and in my opinion, this is going to make people stupider. This artificial intelligence. You have kids, students using it to complete their homework for them, then they learn nothing. So, there you go. It's going to make the world stupider, and it'll eventually take over, and people won't even have to think. It's going to put artists out of a job, people who create art, because any schlep can go over to the machine and be like, hey, make me a picture of this, and it'll do it. So, there you go. There's two things that are going to be taken out by artificial intelligence. In my opinion, anyway. I'm curious to see what everyone else thinks about it. One thing I always say is don't praise the machine. Don't give it human qualities. It's a machine. It's made up of parts and metal, plastic. Don't praise the machine. We're donezo. Yeah. As soon as artificial intelligence can come up with reviews for anime shows, that's it. We're out of here. Let's see. Woodstock area firm gets a boost from $1.5 million government contract. Okay. Let's have a look at that. Woodstock is in Ontario, if you don't know. Rest in peace, your one quality. Yeah. My quality is hating bad anime. Now a computer can do it. Oh. It says here, 90-year-old family-owned Woodstock area business will benefit from a $1.15 million contract made possible by the government's New Brunswick-focused procurement policy. Or maybe this is in New Brunswick instead. One of the maritime provinces. Premier Blaine Higgs and 3 local MLAs visited Tarprite Incorporated in Jacksonville Monday morning, June 19th, to announce a contract awarded to the Cover Manufacturing Company under the New Brunswick First Procurement Strategy and Action Plan. Tarprite Inc. is a perfect example of how our local businesses are helping energize the private sector and reinvigorate communities. I am extremely proud of the success of our procurement strategy and the positive outcomes it will bring to communities throughout the province. Tarprite Vice President Jason Cox, the 4th generation of the 5-generation family-operated business, welcomed the contract, which calls the manufacturing 5 fabric-covered structures of the Department of Tourism and Infrastructure. Cox explained his firm is only one manufacturer of this type of steel and fabric buildings in the Atlantic provinces. Said the company markets its products primarily in Atlantic Canada and a pair of northeastern states, but is looking to expand its market. Because of this contract, TarpRight is able to give back to the local economy by adding new employees and moving forward with continuous expansion plans, such as new buildings and manufacturing space, modern equipment for efficiencies, and exploring new export markets. And hello to you, Ronan66. What's going on? We're just having a look at seeing some of the stories out in industry, which businesses are making deals, and hopefully things are turning around for the economy. Cox explained the company started by his great-grandfather, celebrated its 90th anniversary last year. TarpRight has been a trusted and preferred manufacturer and installer of a unique fabric building system since 1932, and we look forward to working with the province on future contract opportunities, said. Cox's parents, Dale and Kathy Cox, and son Logan represented 3 generations of the business family on hand for Monday's announcement. Dale explained his grandfather launched the family business as a harness maker in downtown Woodstock and moved to the other locations in Woodstock and Grafton. The move to Jacksonville secured the property needed for expansion into what the firm is today and provided space for further growth. Jason said TarpRight currently employs 65 people. That's pretty good. The Carleton Riding MLA Education and Early Childhood Learning Minister Bill Hogan served as Master of Ceremonies. Neighboring MLAs from Carleton, Victoria, Agriculture, Aquaculture, and Fishing Minister Margaret Johnson, and Carleton, York, Richard Ames accompanied Higgs to the Jacksonville event. Higgs said the procurement strategy and action plan resulted in a collaborative effort between Service New Brunswick, Opportunities New Brunswick, and the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure. He denied the ongoing disagreements in Cabinet played a role in the decision not to include any of those ministers in the TarpRight announcement. He said those other ministers had other duties on Monday morning. Okay, so we're kind of straying away from the story here. I don't care what happened in your parliament. Anyways, government buying stuff with the taxpayers' money. Pretty much what it boils down to. Toyota shareholders reject proposal demanding better performance on climate change. Toyota shareholders reject the proposal demanding better performance on... Okay. Well, the shareholders are getting involved, and they usually have the final say in what the company's doing. Otherwise, they elect a CEO who will listen to them. Canadian technology organizations form semiconductor working group. Good. I would like to see us build our own semiconductors here so we do not have to rely on China for their manufacturing. Got some big nachos. Right on. Intel. You didn't eat lunch today, so you're pretty hungry. Man, don't skip lunch. Well, we were quite fortunate today. It's one of the engineers brought us in some muffins that she baked, so that was pretty neat. And we got one more week to go. One more week of shutdown, everybody, and then I can get the plant back up and running, and then things will quiet it down. I won't have to be going hard at it and ease up a little bit. Here you go. Intel to build $33 billion chip plant in Germany after the government pledges to cover 1/3 of the cost. Once again, that's a government using taxpayers' money to get businesses there. I don't agree with that. Number of Americans filing for jobless claims is elevated for second straight week. Uh-oh. I don't know how things are where you're at. If is the unemployment really high? Serranos in Oregon, and where's Ronan at? Georgia. Let's have a look here. This is from a Canadian perspective. So, the number of Americans applying for unemployment benefits remained elevated last week. A possible sign that the Federal Reserve's interest rate hikes over the past year may be taking hold in what's proved to be a resilient job market. You have a steady job, so you don't know? Good. It's good you have a steady job. U.S. applications for jobless claims were 262,000 for the week ending June 10th. The Labor Department reported Thursday more than analysts were expecting. The week's number mirrors last week's, which was revised up by 1,000. Claims numbers for the past 2 weeks are the highest since October of 2021. The 4-week moving average of claims, which flattens some of the week-to-week fluctuations, rose by more than 9,000 to 246,750. That's the highest level since November of 2021. U.S. employers have added jobs at a furious rate since more than 20 million jobs disappeared during the pandemic purge in the spring of 2020. Americans have enjoyed unusual job security despite the Federal Reserve's aggressive campaign to cool the economy and labor market in its bid to stifle persistently elevated inflation not seen since the early 1980s. On Wednesday, Fed officials chose not to increase its benchmark borrowing rate for the first time in 15 months, though some said they expect to add another half point to rates by the end of the year. They have to be careful raising interest rates. It could really hit people hard, especially people that are paying a mortgage. You keep raising those rates up, and people that shouldn't have been given a loan are going to lose their house. The rate hikes slowly help tamp down inflation, though perhaps not as quickly as hoped. The labor market has remained unusually strong throughout the more than year-long rate hike campaign designed to cool it. U.S. employers added a robust 339,000 jobs last month, well above expectations, painting a mostly encouraging picture of the job market, even as the unemployment rate rose to 3.7% in April. Employers posted 10.1 million job openings, up from the 9.7 million in March, and the most since January. Economists had expected vacancies to decline. There are other signs that the Fed's policies are taking hold. The U.S. economy grew at a lackluster 1.3% annual rate from January through March as businesses wary of an economic slowdown trimmed their inventories. That's a slight upgrade from its initial growth estimate of 1.1%. The manufacturing sector has been contracting, and 3 bank failures have been blamed in part on higher interest rates. Though the labor market remains strong, there have been a high number of profile layoffs recently, mostly in the technology sector, where many companies say they're overhired during the pandemic. IBM, Microsoft, Salesforce, Twitter, Lyft, LinkedIn, Spotify, and DoorDash have all announced layoffs in recent months. Amazon and Facebook parent Meta have each announced 2 sets of job cuts since November. Outside the tech sector, McDonald's, Morgan Stanley, and 3M have also recently announced layoffs. Overall, 1.70 million people were collecting unemployment benefits the week that ended June 3rd, about 20,000 more than the previous week. Well, here's hoping things will, they hired employees when it was basically free. Yeah, it's exactly it. People didn't want to leave their houses or weren't supposed to leave their houses or just were scared to. And that's when all those other things got popular, like Uber Eats and all that stuff. And it's like, we got to hire more people. And they just went crazy hiring people. Freeland says production subsidies for Volkswagen will be tax-free, matching the U.S. Yeah, okay, once again, government using taxpayer money to pay a corporation. It's disgusting, and I don't like it. Canadian sources used to achieve PepsiCo Canada's renewable electricity targets. Hong Kong launches bid to attract Canadian companies. Yeah, right. We read that one last week. Yeah, well, nothing too crazy. I do like the chip plant, but Intel should have built their chip plant here, not in Germany. My opinion. I think if you're an American or Canadian company, you build your places to build things here. Anyway, moving right along. Found this article. It's all about the skilled trades and how employers can fight the labor shortage. Now, I've read other ones before, and I haven't been impressed with what ideas they've come up with, because I don't think they're good. So let's have a look at this one and see what we can do here, if they did a good job. It's no secret that the job market is struggling to fill roles across many industries, but especially skilled trades like construction, manufacturing, and more, While there is a variety of factors that feed into this problem, two basic issues are having a noticeable impact. Retiring workforce, yes, that's true, I agree with that. And up-and-coming workers who are not pursuing careers in those industries. Yes, exactly. Now, are they going to come up with solutions to get the up-and-coming workers into those industries? Let's see. Essentially, retirees are leaving roles open, but early talent is not filling those roles, leading to labor shortages. Let's discuss these trends and what employers are in affected industries can do to develop and attract the talent they need. So I currently experience this where I'm at right now. I was purposely hired and brought in because the existing maintenance mechanic was going to retire. And they saw that he suggested, instead of having an operator hired, hire a tradesman that can learn from him and take over. And that's what happened. That's where I came in. I saw the job application, and I applied, and I got a call, and I started, and learning from the older gentleman who was going to retire, and that's what happened. He's like, okay, well, I'm retiring now, and now it's up to you now to take over and fulfill the role of being the maintenance mechanic for the plant. I'm like, all right. And, that was almost 2 years ago now. So things have really come a long way, but that's just it. The older employees are retiring. The article goes on. Since 2019, the proportion of retirees in the U.S. population has risen from 18 to nearly 20%, according to research by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, equivalent to about 3.5 million fewer workers. And the trend seems sure to accelerate. The percentage of workers who are 55 or older is nearly 24%, up from only about 15% 2 decades ago. The surge of retirements, along with a slowdown in immigration that began during the pandemic, are the primary factors behind the labor shortages that continue to bedevil some employers. How many other employees work at my place? There is, let me see. There's about 12. Nope, 14. There's 14 of us, I think. So it's not a big plant, but it's big enough. Let's see. The industries that have high or increasing percentage of workers for federal are the greatest risk of being negatively affected. And if you study demographics, they seen this coming years ago. If you follow as the years move along and the ages of the workers, you can get graphs and everything for the demographics of who's going to be older at what year and when they're going to retire. So you can track all that stuff. So they could have done something proactive and seen this coming. I was being told when I went through trade school in the 90s that all the journeymen are going to retire and you'll have the pick of where you want to go. And it's come true. It's happened. You're thinking only having one guy dedicated to that job seemed a bit low for any larger operation? Yeah, no, it's the operators there are really good. They know their stuff and they can do like little things to help me out. But when it comes to the big stuff, rebuilding pumps and such like that and taking care of stuff, that's my main job, and I'm going to take care of that, and they can do stuff too, as long as I'm around to observe them and make sure they don't do anything wrong. The thing about learning a trade, and hello, Veritax, good to see you. The thing about learning a trade, most of these skills are always going to be in need. Plumbing, electrician, HVAC tech, welding, there will always be someone that needs, 100%. Agree with you, my friend. And especially HVAC. In the wintertime, people need their furnace to work. In the summertime, everybody needs air conditioning. So you're always, if you get into that, you're golden, you're set. Yes, there are a lot of trades. There's a myriad of trades out there if you look into it. And I've had a few guests on I've had aircraft technicians, such as the Angry Canadian, and a couple of people I know, like CCD, she's a millwright, and B-Man, he was instrumentation tech. So there's all sorts of stuff. Learning things can help you when you own property, cars, devices of your own. You don't regret learning some basic plumbing, electrical stuff, even though you weren't a tradesman, and that's okay. At least you're learning. That's the thing. Learning is the most important thing. Going along here, for example, the percentage of construction workers aged 55 or older doubled between 2003 and 2020 to almost a quarter, according to AP. More than a third of airline mechanics are between 55 and 64 years old. Even in an industry like accounting, around 75% of the workers are nearing retirement. There's no denying there's a substantial group of baby boomers in the workforce who are looking at retirement, and there's no stopping it. Yes, this would bite you in the ass if you didn't even pay. You could pay a little bit of attention to it and see this coming. These guys, they should not be surprised. Not surprised at all. Your dad considered becoming an electrician. If you were going to do a trade, you'd probably pursue HVAC. Yeah, HVAC is fun. Fun stuff from what I've seen, and it's people are always grateful after you're done the job because you've either got their heat going or you got their air conditioning going. So, I think we had our office trailer needed some work done. The AC wasn't working, so we called up the people that we rented it from. They sent a guy in, an HVAC guy, and he recharged the system and changed a valve. And there you go, $600 later, done. So that's and everyone was grateful. They were grateful to pay it because it kept them cool. Better than going into debt for a degree. Wish you'd known this when you were younger and would have had more job security for sure. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but we're going to get into that too, because the skilled trades are not they don't get talked up enough when you're like in high school or even sooner than that. You know, it needs to be, you need the exposure so that people, the young generation, know. It's like, oh wow, I can do this. That's how you do this? Skilled trades are misunderstood by early talent. Shifting views on skilled trades has led to a shortage of workers entering these industries compared to when baby boomers first began working. Over the last few decades, there has been a growing mindset that office-based careers requiring a bachelor's degree are a safer, more stable, and more prosperous option than skilled trades. While this has reduced the number of young people pursuing these careers, these perspectives are not necessarily true. The other thing about trade jobs, you work on a tangible thing, not software that people can delete or unsubscribe from tomorrow. Yeah. There's projects I've been on and I'm like, hey, I built that. I helped with that. I helped make that. It's satisfying. You've had a hand in something. Something physical, something you can point out to people. Hey, you see that bridge over there? I helped build that bridge. Hey, you see that over there? I can go where I am not at now and be like, yeah, I rebuilt that pump. Yeah, I rebuilt that compressor. Yeah, I know how that comes apart and goes back together again. Going on with this, data shows that skilled trades are not only rising in demand, but they also show more stability and growth in an unpredictable economy and technological landscape. Additionally, in a time when a third of people with student loans say the debt was not worth it, there you go. The debt was not worth it. And that is the thing too. Putting yourself into debt, though, it's amazing how much it costs, just to get an education and all that. When I went to school for trade school, in the 90s, I paid $110 a month plus the cost of my books and modules I had to do. Been reduction enforced about 3 to 4 times in the last 15 years. Oh. Hey, looking in the background. Okay, hey, Godzillionaire. Good to see you, buddy. I wondered where you were. Everybody's favorite kaiju, everyone. Godzillionaire. Yeah, this is the thing here. The debt. I came out of trade school with no debt. because it was enough for me to have worked during the summertime and save up money to pay for it. So that's a one plus about it. Also, you can get bursaries, scholarships, all that kind of stuff you can apply for. Plus, what many young people fail to realize is that skilled trades tend to pay higher than many other industries, offer growth opportunities within the careers, and often come with benefits. 4-year degrees can be great options for some, but they're not right for everyone. For those who would thrive in a skilled trade, it's important that they don't write off the option due to misunderstood perspectives on those careers. With all this in mind, the question becomes less about whether skilled trades are a viable option for young people, and more about how we can change the narrative to get these careers more on the forefront of young people's minds as they are choosing their path. So how can you, as an employer, accomplish this? Also in high schools. When I was in high school, they were always saying, you got to go to university. You got to go to university. Make sure you go to university. And it's like, wow, you guys are really pushing hard on that. Like, are you getting paid by the universities to send kids there? You have to wonder sometimes, because it's a lot of money to go to university. Hence all the debt. How to attract young people to skilled trades. Changing mindsets and drawing young people to a career path usually requires a variety of approaches. Below, we discuss 3 strategies that can help attract young people not only to skilled trades, but to your company and career specifically. Yes, they are. Educate young people about their options within these industries. The first step to changing perspectives is education. Many of these industries and employers are working to inform young people about the opportunities within these careers. The challenge is that most individuals begin to make career decisions during high school, and those decisions are largely influenced by the people around them and the information opportunities available at their school. There you go. That's the thing. You'd assume all teachers nowadays have a college degree. Yeah, or they've gone to university or whatever. I know it's different in the States. I think in Canada we go to university to become teachers. High school fairs can be a great opportunity to get in front of students and share information about your careers. It allows you to personally interact with young people and develop interest. Still, the effectiveness of career fairs can be limited by the time constraints, volume of students, wandering attention, and difficulty maintaining communication after the fact. We've got great tips to make the most of our career fairs despite all this here, but we all encourage employers to think beyond career fairs. We at Golden Path Solutions saw a need for students and employers to connect more meaningfully, so we developed our workforce development platform, Compass. Among other capabilities, employers can share in-depth information about their company and roles with students through career profiles, and Compass will even match them with the students who suit them best. Okay, so this is more like a commercial for these guys. Give students opportunities to interact with your careers early on. Hands-on experience can be a huge factor in a person's career choices. Some realize that they love one of their classes in school and decide to pursue a degree in that field. Some sign up for after-school clubs or activities and realize that they'd like to turn their talent and interest into a career. Careers in technical student organizations like Future Farmers of America, Skills USA, and Technology Student Association can also be great opportunities for students to explore a future path. And some students help out a family member with their job and realize they want to do that too. While career and technical education classes and activities at schools can help get students exposed to skilled trades, employers can also offer career-based opportunities that allow students to interact directly with their company while building skills relevant to the field. These kinds of opportunities are called work-based learning, and it spans a variety of experiences from internships to service learning to job shadows. There's also something we have in the province of Alberta called the RAP program, and you can do that during high school. You can get an apprenticeship in the field or skilled trade that you've chosen, and you can earn your hours and earn money while you're still going to high school. It's quite the thing. The only problem I see it, being a older worker, is that if you're come out of high school and you turn, let's say you're turned 20 and you're a journeyman, you're not going to get respected very much on the job site because you don't have a lot of experience. So be ready for that. As long as you don't walk around thinking you know everything and try to tell the older workers how to do their job, should be just fine. When you were a kid, scouting was a gateway to explore some of these trades. Yes, scouting. There you go. That's a good thing to go into. Put the kids in the scouts, and they learn all that stuff. Where do we leave off here? Work-based learning is flexible, meaning it can look different for each organization based on their capacity and goals. It's a win-win for students who gain hands-on experience, sometimes along with school credit and other payment, and employers who get to build interest in their company and careers and start developing skills that the roles require. It can also be a great opportunity for employers to identify and build relationships with promising future employees. Most people's career choices are formed over time, though. Over time through exposure and experiences that help them decide what they'd like to pursue. By giving students an opportunity to interact directly with real companies and careers in these industries during their high school years, many more will have the chance to realize their potential in skilled trades and pursue a career. And number 3 is incentivize young people to pursue these careers. Although these careers tend to both require less investment for schooling than other kinds of professions and offer competitive pay and benefits, money can still be a barrier for some young people with a shortage of workers. Average pay has been rising across industries to attract more workers, but many employers are also turning to financial aid for training to bring more workers to their organizations. For example, Piedmont Airlines, an East Coast feeder for American Airlines, was struggling with shortages of airplane mechanics. So they started offering full tuition scholarships for students to study and train at select schools in exchange for a 2-year employment agreement post-graduation. See, that's smart for them to do that. That's a good idea. We at Golden Path Solutions facilitate a similar option for employers and students called sponsorship. An employer helps pay for the student's tuition, either part or all, in exchange for a work agreement. We've seen great success with participating students and employers. They want these kids to know what they want to do in 5th grade and then try to reinforce their choices into middle school. I think it's a bit insane. I didn't even know I wanted to do it until I was actually working the summer after I graduated. So I graduated grade 12 and I worked at an industrial plant for the summer, and then the only stipulation was I had to go and do some post-secondary education. So I chose the trade, I chose the millwright trade, and the rest is history, as they say. You remember nursing being taught as a trade at our Votex Center. There was a huge need for that, too. Oh, yeah, I believe it. You always hear about, like, shortage of nurses and all that. Okay, well, there you go. Golden Path Solutions. It sounds like they're an American company. But, yeah, you can get your connections with them. But it's good to see that they realize the problem of exposing the younger generations to the trades. Everything's not just, I'm gonna earn my money on TikTok. I'm gonna be a YouTuber. Blah blah blah. It doesn't work like that. It's for the very few people it does work for, but they need to help better themselves and be be in the skilled trades. So, moving right along. Next up on the agenda, I think I'm going to do some safety. Oh, actually, before that, there we go. We'll do this. We will do this. What is that? There we go. Okay, resume writing. When you are going to do a resume, depending on the business you're sending it to, they may have something to help sort through all the resumes they get. Like an algorithm or something might look for keywords in your resume, and that's the big thing. Keywords. that that the algorithm will go over and then pass it on. Because if your resume doesn't have the keywords, it'll probably just pass over it and not even forward it to the human resources. I just want to say hello to everybody on the Kick side. And if you're on Rumble, thank you for stopping by. And of course, the usual YouTube suspects. And the new people too, like Veritex. Nice to see you. So, yes, first thing to do. Start off with your name in big letters. Don't be afraid. Make it big. You want them to remember your name. Be proud of your name. Right? Address, phone number. Phone number is important. Address, not so much. But I do know that depending on the workplace, some employees will see your address and they'll look up and they'll try to see where you live. I had that happen to me. The guys saw my address and they did like Google Maps to see where I live. And they try to find you on Facebook and stuff like that too, but I don't have Facebook, so they didn't see me at all. Always, I found, have an objective. You know, highlight something. It's like, yes, I have a goal to shoot for. This shows that you're gonna try to do whatever it is you put after your objective. And my objective with the keywords I put in. So, to work safely and make the best use of my 25 years of skills, creativity, and imagination as a millwright in a fast-paced and large industrial environment. There's some debate today about whether you need full street address, but city, state, and country, if you're outside the U.S., you could put there. Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, email and my LinkedIn. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I didn't think about that, Veritex. Kind of old school that way. I didn't even think about putting email. But yes, the objective. So as you can see in the first part right here, what they want to hear or what they'd want to see. So first off, work safely. Safely is in there. That's a keyword. You guys can see that okay, can't you? It should be all right. Always make it a little bigger. There we go. Work safely and make the best use of my 25 years of skill. So right away, as soon as I put in that there's 25 years, they know, okay, this guy's been in the trade a long time. So he should know his stuff. You tend to put month, year for dates on projects rather than full date. Okay. That works. But you put in what I put in for 25 years, skills, creativity. So you're telling them that you're creative, and imagination. So you're imaginative. You're thinking about stuff. As a millwright, yeah, because I put in what my trade is, and fast paced. Because some places don't stop; they work 24/7, and they're always on the go. So you can tell them that you want to work in a fast place and large industrial environment. So that means you're not at some mom and pop place. You are working at a large industrial place. So right away, that first couple of lines should grab their attention. You've never seen an employee with the employer address, contact, or phone though? Some places I work don't even have phones anymore. They don't even have phones anymore? Wow. Huh. So, and then I start in. I'm not saying you have to do it this way, but this is what I do. Right away, previous experience. Mark the dates that you've worked at the place, the name of the place. I took the name out, obviously. And the address and the phone number. But I put their name and what they did: recycling, dewatering, anaerobic digester facilities. Boom. And the address, phone number, in case they need to call my supervisor to talk to them. What I did, my position there, during the millwright team lead / supervisor. And then the duties. Okay, now this is important. Describing what you did so that they know what you did. So, leading and working well with the team. So, key word there again, working well with the team. A key phrase, I guess you'd call it. Working well with the team, using SAP for work orders, organizing workflow, mentoring apprentices. Right away they know, oh, okay, this guy, he helps out the new guys, the new apprentices. So being a resource to coworkers. Okay, so people come and ask this guy, people who have worked there have come and asked this guy for advice on what to do on jobs. Performing preventative maintenance on equipment to limit downtime. And then I described it's for a recycling and waste handling industry, which includes, and I included some of the machinery: balers, conveyors, pumps, hydraulic systems, air compressors, centrifuges, and motor and gearbox combinations. At the end, I have always put some accomplishments. Feel like you've accomplished something. What have you done during your time there? I served on the safety committee for over 10 years, working a part of the project team to reline a drum digester. No accidents or incidents, and done in record time. Something to be proud of, something that they're like, wow, he accomplished something when he was there. And I only put, because this first job was like for 15 years, and then I just put 2 of the jobs on here. I don't go all the way back to like when I first started working back in 1994. Second job from 2004 to 2006, industrial coatings. There I was an apprentice, installing, repairing equipment related to industrial coatings such as pumps, vertical mixers, 5-gallon paint shakers, horizontal drum mixers. Once again, accomplishments. Was on the committee that created and implemented the company's first formal safety policy. So this was a sort of a mom and pop company. So it wasn't didn't have a big, large organization with corporate head offices anywhere. It was just all in one place. And then after that, list your skills. It's important. Try to get as trained up as you can, as much as you can. If you get offered training, take it. If you need to pay for it, pay for it. Get the training. These are skills you can just put on here, and then they'll see right away. SAP and MS Office. Okay, so a lot of corporations use Microsoft Office, and they only use that. Some use SAP. That's becoming more popular. Forklift, aerial platform ticket. 2 of the most important ones. Forklift, you can move stuff around. Aerial platform means you're not, you can work in an aerial lift, and you're okay with heights. Confined space entry. Okay, you can go into places and you know how to get in, get out, and what to look for. H2S Alive training. Some places need that. You're going to deal with H2S Alive, you better know what you're dealing with, because that stuff will kill you easily. Fall protection training. You also need that if you're doing any kind of work on roofs or in the aerial platform. Overhead crane training, right? You want to be able to lift things up safely, do some rigging. First aid training, carry deck crane training. That's a little more specialized for where I was at. Skid steer training, wheel loader training. Tools of the job for when you're in the millwright trade. Skid steer, you can put forks on the thing and it will be able to take things over quite rough terrain. Won't get stuck like a forklift would. Wheel loader, same thing. You know, if you have to push stuff out of the way or use forks on a wheel loader, it's a handy tool to have. And then you just put your education on there. Trade school name. And when you went. And, you know, if you went to a second, you know, if you went for a second trade like I did, you know, put that on there. It shows that, hey, you know, this guy is a go-getter. He wants to, you know, better himself and get more and more training. And glory to Wupstotska, Comrade Jake D. Good to see ya. Just showing a little bit of resume making here. We always try to put in lots of keywords and phrases to get yourself noticed. Because it's you against everyone else to get that job. Especially if it's the job you really want. You're like, boy, I really want that job. You got to make yourself stand out. And you got to do it without lying. You lie on your resume, you'll get caught, and then that's it. Your credibility is ruined, and you get fired. So do what you can. Always get as much training as you can get, but don't lie on your resume. And I throw hobbies on there. It shows that you're not just gonna work. You have things to do in your off time, and a lot of places are touting a work-life balance, and it's like, well, you guys talk about work-life balance. I work for you. I need that downtime, so I have my hobbies, like listening to old-time radio, collecting comics, and reading old magazines. Some of the hobbies I do. I didn't put down that I'm on YouTube because they don't need to know that. It just gets awkward. And then references. The final thing. People they can call to talk about how you work and what you've done in the past. Yeah, so people you have worked with and can vouch for your work ethic, preferably ones that you have known for a long time. And obviously, ones that are going to give you a good recommendation. Don't put down people that you don't like or that don't like you. And that's pretty much it for a resume. Just remember, there's key phrases to put in. You always want to do it to grab their attention. I always add a little bit of color, as you can see, to the resume here. So I will put the name of the company in blue, and the duties are in red, and purple for the accomplishments. That way, as they're looking through, it catches their eye, and they're like, okay, blue is the companies, and they'll just look for blues and see what company it was, and then red is duties, and they'll look, oh, what were the duties here, and then accomplishments are in purple. So yeah, a little bit of color doesn't hurt, at least in my opinion. I don't know if those resume writing people will come after me for that, but I say add a bit of color. They have a lot of them to look through, and always try to put things that are relevant to the job. You need to specialize them sometimes, depending on what job you're going for. You need to highlight. If you're going to go, like, say, cleaning floors, then make sure you put that in there, that you switch it around so that your duties were, head janitor or something at wherever you're at, or, you have all the skills needed to wax floors and use this model of floor wax machine. Things like that. Customize it for whatever you're going to shoot for. For the state and Wupstotska will be favorable on resume. I'm going to put that next, actually. I'd like to put Chief Mechanic of Wupstotska, if that's okay. End with from each according to ability. From each according to ability. Yes, Jake D. Wax on, wax off. But yes, any questions about resumes you guys might have? I mean, this one got me the job I'm at now, and I'm pretty proud of it. I think it did good. And also, once you get the resume and get a interview, that's the thing to do, is get the interview. That's a whole other episode for us to talk about being in an interview. My job interview for the one I'm at now, it took about 5 hours. And I feel bad. I feel bad because Mrs. Mechanic, she came with me. And I'm like, okay, well, I dropped her off at the mall. And I'm like, okay, well, this shouldn't be too long. I'll be back and I'll talk to you. I'll come pick you up. And yeah, it was 5 hours later. And she was like, oh my God, that took so long. I'm like, yeah, sorry about that. But they took me all over for a tour of the plant and asking me all these questions. And it was just crazy. But it was well worth it. I guess the longer the interview you have, the better it is, I think. But she forgave me because I got the job. So I was happy about that. All right. And that is it for resumes. What I will do is, before we get into the last part here, looking at some pictures, I think it's time for a safety save.
Oh, hey there everybody. How are you? Well, I don't always play video games, but when I do, I make sure to safely make a safety save in a safe environment. And if you don't know how to make a safety save, well then make sure you check out Pop Culture Mechanics, 9 a.m. Mountain Time and 10 a.m. Central on Saturday mornings, where you can learn how to make a safety save that you might be so excited you could dance if you wanna. So, come on and check out Pop Culture Mechanics on Saturday mornings. Going to see you there. Bye.
Finally! Yes! Whew! My God! There we go, a little shameless plug for my game stream on Saturday. Courtesy of Drunk Waddle. What a helpful penguin that guy is. Here we go. Anybody getting to, speaking of safety save, but also safety in the job site. See anything wrong with this picture? These are wood chips, and they slowly were dropping out of this drum digester here, because there's a gap. And they just slowly dropped to the floor and built up and up and up and up. And they are blocking the exit door. So there's a little safety problem that drives the safety supervisors crazy. Not enough Whoopa? There's never enough Whoopa. But yeah, there you go. That's here's another one. This fellow was driving and trying to dump the bales in the dumpster, and it was a little too much for the forklift to take, a little too beyond its capacity. So also, if they get shifted for some reason, they could fall on somebody and bury them or hurt them. Yes, there's engulfment for sure. Yep. So they have to open the door and bring in the skid steer and just clean it out of there. But this guy tried to empty those bales, and yeah, it didn't go so well. So as you can see, now there's engine oil leaking on the ground because it tipped over. And I had to come over with the crane, hook on to this guy at the back, and then they got the grapple to lift those bales off there, and we slowly let the back end down. So it wasn't a hard landing, but it could have been worse. Good thing he's wearing his seatbelt. Depending upon what else is around that saw, this could be also a fire hazard. Yeah, it could. Yeah, those are very dry wood chips, Veritax. I think I got a couple of pictures. Is this not a normal workplace occurrence for anyone else? There you go. There's a better shot. So that's what happened. The bales were supposed to slide off the forks and in there, but they slid and punk, hit the edge. And it just, it was too far on the forks. And if you know about the stability triangle on a forklift, if you go high, the triangle becomes more narrow, and then your weight could easily tip it over. There's a better shot of it from this point of view. I put up some red tape so that people wouldn't go around and walk behind it or whatever, so I could lift it down. Just another shot there. This is not how you hold a air fitting into a hose. You don't use a zip tie. The guy that did this needs a slap. You use a proper hose clamp. There's another shot of it there. Yeah, I can't believe they did this. It's amazing that he was able to even lift it up that high with the load. That was clearly a little oversized. You've seen something break in those before. Watch people do it. And Lowe's. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, that forklift there. No, it's just, you should have done them one at a time. I was called over and they're like, "Oh, look, something happened to this electrical box." And I'm like, "Uh-huh. What'd you hit it with?" Then, they always deny. They never tell you that they did any wrong. They're always like, "Oh, no, we found it like that." Yeah, okay. I believe you. I'll go get the electrician. I had to go get the electrician. We miss you something like our pocket knife. David kind of corner offer certificate. Lose all 4 corners. Have a retake the training. Did this guy get a corner off his license? You guys cutting corners off of guys' certificates? I don't think he got a corner off his license or anything like that. We don't do anything like that. I think it got an investigation, and I think he might have been, maybe, I don't know if he got reprimanded or not, but, you'd get a good talking to and maybe be forced to take training again, but nothing to do with their license. Teach you to use knives, axes, and saws, and then we'd get a little card to say we knew how to use them if we were caught using them and safely. Oh yeah, okay. You're late, DJ Ronnie G. Welcome. That's okay. They'd cut the corner off the card, lose all 4 corners, get the privilege suspended, and then have to retake. Oh, okay. That's how you guys did it. Okay, I had no idea. What else we got here? Oh, don't weld like this guy. This guy was not a welder. Said he was from a different country, and he said he was a welder, but he was lying. He did not know how to weld at all. This is terrible. Like, as you can see, another welder went over and he's like, re-weld this, re-weld this, all right, re-weld that. So we're having to use a high pressure water hose at your dad's plant one summer. You weigh 230 and they turned it on behind me before we were ready, and that got away all. Oh man, that's crazy. That's a lot of pressure. Jeez. Oh, you weighed about, okay, that dictated wrong. You weigh about 130 at the time. Okay. That'll pitch you around for sure. Here's a little bit of a railing. that it looks like they tried to keep it together with tie straps. And it's like, well, no. Get the welder. He'll fix it up. But what you guys? Why were they thinking they could get away with this? Like this is an easy fix, but obviously they just didn't want to do their due diligence and get a welder involved. Looks legit to you. Yeah, it checks out. It's good enough. Just don't lean against it. Yeah, that blows me away. And here, how does this happen? This is a backrest for a forklift attachment for your skid steer. The side's blown right out of it. Like, what is going on here? What did they latch onto that they ripped the thing off? Later on, they just took the license away. You got one chance to use it safely. If you didn't, you had to retake the training. Ah, okay. Why don't people get electrocuted when operating an arc welder? Because they don't complete the circuit. Right? The circuit travels from the electrode to the ground cable. It doesn't go through it wants to go that direction. You're not in water, hopefully, because that will shock you. If you're dry and you're wearing all your protective equipment, you don't complete the circuit. How does this happen? Where there's a forklift, there's a way. Yes, DJ Ronnie G, there's a ground cable. Every arc welding machine should have a ground cable. I mean, look at that. I don't know what they pulled on. They're trying to do something stupid and they just wrecked the thing. Yeah, wet, lightning, zap. You will get zapped. I've had wet welding gloves when I was arc welding. And if you try to put the electrode in there, you get a slight tingling feeling in your hand. So don't use wet gloves when you're welding. Yeah, that blew me. I had to take a couple pictures because it's like, what happened to this thing? Sometimes you'll find needles or spent, there's not a needle in the end of it. Hypodermics that would come through the garbage dump. Once again, another, or maybe it's the same one, but it's a forklift attachment. Now they rip the bottom of it out where it attaches at the bottom. Like, I don't get these guys. Like, there's the headache rack there. These are what you put the clips into to keep it from going anywhere. And this one's ripped out. Eat it, Joes. There you go. These things get abused so much. Come-alongs. Or lever hoists, as they're known as. Like the latch always gets broken. Somebody's always doing a side pull on it or something. The hook gets stretched. You're pulling way too much. Those welds remind you of looking at houses and then finding doors that look like they bought the wrong size door. It was too tall, so they cut the bottom of it off of it. That's just lazy. But yes, a lot of come-alongs get abused. They're either used for way more weight than they're rated for. They get side pulls. They bend the hooks. You know, there's a 3/4 ton one. It's had the hook, the latch stretched out of it. I believe they used plywood to cover up a hole in that chute. And there was stuff coming out of it because it wore through, and they asked me to do something about it, so I did. I put another piece of plywood over that. It's a good temporary fix. Because some of these places, they don't want to shut down. Canadian tons? Yes. Actually, you know what? I don't know if that's... You make a good point there. It's probably American tons. I don't think it's Canadian tons. Oh. Here you go. I'll play this one again. So this video here, we were testing out one of the bodies, the mannequins, safety mannequin, to see if it would hold up if any of us fell into the poo pond. And yeah, here you go again. Push them in. Life jackets on them, and the line goes taut. There you go. Nope. Not going to get held up by the life jacket. I got a couple of these. Oh, yes. These are one of my YouTube shorts. So we are about 20 feet in the air. We're trying to clean out the gutters. Gutters have never been cleaned. 20 years of debris. Working on it. Oh, there we go. Hey, Brandon, good to see you. Yeah, holy shit, clean those things. Just wait till you see. Oh, no, that's not it. There we go. There's 20 years of debris built up in those gutters. A lot of that is compost. And I don't know, maybe even bones, chicken bones from the seagulls. I tried to get a look in there. Hard to get in, hard to look in there. But yeah. There you go. This was taken a few years back when we had a lot of rainfall. And this is what happens when you're at the low point. It was so bad they had to make some of those, what do you call them? Like a boardwalk. Oh, I think this is the original video. Before I edited it. Here we go. And the dummy didn't come back up. It just sunk. Sunk into the settling pond. And what do you say? What you're saying to yourself right now? A settling pond? A settling pond for what? That is a settling pond for human waste. And we have boats that would go on there because there was a barge out there. And that's what we would do. Here I was getting a shot of the V-belt that's pulling this fan. Or that's driving the fan. See how it's it's got tension on one side and it's loose on the other side. Who had to clean it? What, the dummy? I think we just dragged it back and took the pressure washer to it. But yeah, that's there you go. Safety, everybody. Really important. Keeps you alive. Lets you come home at night to your family and your loved ones. Lets you keep all your fingers. After being in it for 25, 26 years, I still have all my fingers. So I must be doing something right. And I hope you guys are safe out there too. Always remember, Always remember, be safe out there. You know, take the time. Don't shortcut. You know, you think to yourself, oh, I'll just do this. It'll just take a second. Yeah, well, in that time, you can lose an eye, lose a finger. You know, it'll affect your whole life. Once that happens. And it'll affect your whole family too, depending on how severe you get hurt. So do yourself a favor. Don't shortcut and work safely. Think about it. If you're going to do something, you think to yourself, what would Pop do? Would Pop do this? Would he yell at me for not being safe? Do I want to be yelled at by Pop? Probably not. Maybe you should wear that respirator. Maybe you should put those safety glasses on. Maybe you should wear a full face shield. Because the alternative to that is not pretty. I'm not going to show you guys any of the horrific things out there, but you can find those on your own. Yeah, there's been enough horrific things I've seen. He would safety save. What would Pop do? He'd safety save. Yes. Maybe you should use a hashtag safety save. You know what? If we could get safety save trending on Twitter, that'd be hilarious. People would be like, what the hell is safety save? That'd be funny. Just troll Twitter. Anyway, it's important that you guys work safe, no matter what you do. And when you're working on stuff, just make sure that, think to yourself, is this the right way to do this? Should I do it this way? Or is there a better way to do this? Is there a safer way? Safety save. May it be praised. Oh yeah, these welds. Ugh. Anyway, it's been a fun time, everybody. I'm glad you were all able to come by and have a look and a listen, hear about the skilled trades. And I did a little bit of resume building, so if you're interested in that, you can do the replay and see what it is about resume to help you use some key words and key phrases to help you get that job. I think it's really important now that I've heard that there is like an algorithm for some of the companies that are using to screen all their resumes. Yeah, and if you are hauling junk in your truck, please be sure the brakes are engaged and work so they don't take out someone's front home steps. Yeah. Yes, always set the parking brake. Use wheel chocks if necessary. You know, make sure you're not overloading your truck. But everybody does. You see it. You've seen the ones with guys with a big load of dirt in the back and the truck's dragging the back end on the ground. You know, it's just, you know, they gotta think a little bit. It's not just you on the road. There's other people too. Other people with families. Other people that whose lives you can change, you know, forever with a bad decision. Who wants a job? Jobs are for the squalid masses. Yeah, Jake D. Got a newsflash for you. We are the squalid masses. We're people. So yes. Just about time to wrap it up, everybody. It was a good stream today. I was very, very happy about it. This happened to your house while working at home. Your home was up a hill from the roadway. Crazy. Yeah, no kidding. It sounds crazy. Man, oh man. Somebody taking out your steps. Hopefully they paid for them. Well, I'd just like to take time to thank everybody that came by, like Soranos and Ronan66, Veritax. It was nice to see you and talk with you as well. Godzillionaire, just lurking around, everybody's favorite kaiju. Jake D, of course. And DJ Ronnie G, you were late, but we forgive you. Always good to see you. And Brandon the anime guy, hey, stopping in. That's great. Curses. I know, Jake D. The truth hurts. Thought the guy was high. We were renting at the time. Oh, man. Yeah, don't drive impaired. That's the worst thing to do, too. So yeah, please, if you guys can, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Spread the word, too. Get the word out that, hey, there's a skilled tradesman. He talks on Trades Talk Tuesdays, and you can hear all sorts of crazy stories and learn about the skilled trades and introduce them to the next generation. There's other channels out there, too. Good channels. People I've watched. Pacific 414. Blaine's Escape Corner, who is probably streaming right now. Ronan66, he was in the chat too. There's DJ Ronnie G, another chatter. He has a channel. Brandon the anime guy, once again. I believe he was streaming before I started. There's the Nerdporo Lifeform. Angry Canadian. Whoopa Troopa, who has his own channel. And Punkwaddle from Floral from Under a Rock. Those guys will be on tomorrow. And Punkwaddle also has his own channel. I've got a Discord. It's called The Shop, because that's where all the tradesmen talk. They talk at the shop. I'm also broadcasting on Kick and Rumble. Hoping to get the audience out there. Hoping to be one of the few skilled tradesmen on Rumble. Coming up, everybody, Saturday, game stream, playing Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. I tell you, that game is pretty darn fun. Getting quite a ways along. Really enjoying it. What a good game. Sunday's anime chat. Got to come up with my last racing anime to review, because June has been racing, and I really like a good racing anime. Get real into it, get the heart pumping, put the pedal to the floor, burn some rubber. You go to labor for the glorious state of states. And yes, thank you, Jake D. There is a Nintendo Direct tomorrow. Make sure you guys tune in, you Nintendo fans. I know I'm probably going to watch it after dinner with Mrs. Mechanic. We'll watch that Nintendo Direct and see what they got to show us. I'm very interested as to what's coming up. And then next week, again, full circle to Trades Talk Tuesday. I am going to have some pictures of Shutdown and what I had to rebuild. And I hope that you guys will tune in to see some of that stuff, because some of it's pretty neat and something you don't usually see, at your jobs. So you can see what I do at my job. And I hope to see you all there. Once again, I'm very grateful you all showed up. I appreciate it. Until next time, everyone, on Saturday when I play some more Superstar Saga. I've been Pop, and I am signing off.